What is going on, guys? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture. Today, I'm going to be going through some comic books and showing you guys how I organize my books, or at least how I'm doing it right now. So, we got a bird's eye view of what's going on in here. This isn't really a room tour video. It's just really kind of looking at how I have my comic books organized. And I'm going to tell you guys that it's changed. It has changed over the years, and it's probably going to change some more. And of course, as you add on to a collection, you know that changes things as well. So I just had a comment from a viewer yesterday when I was showing off my box of keys, and they were asking, did you just put them in that box for the video to show off some keys? Why would you take them out at runs? I'm going to address kind of questions like that because, look, we all do things for our own reasons, right? When it comes to comic book collecting, and that includes organizing comics. So, where to begin, guys? I mean, let's just start by saying, when I built this shelving unit right here, this was the main storage area of my books, okay? And I had this whole area basically organized by, A through Z. Now, of course, I organized by publisher as well. But that's kind of changed since I moved some more out here, and I'm going to kind of get into that. But first, let me start with the basics to show you guys, I think, the most prevalent way that I organize my books, and that is by publisher and by runs A through Z. Now, I'm a collector of runs. I love collecting runs, so that's probably why most of my collection is A through Z by runs. So let's go ahead and just go over here and start with these first boxes. As you can see, the stickers, these are DC boxes. And as you can see, I don't have tabs for everything. I want to get more and more, but this is A, B, Batman. Starts with numbers. First issue special is actually the name of the run. And then to like A, see, this is all DC stuff. And then B for Batman. And then I have what I do. So now what I do for a character, okay? So for Batman, like there's the Batman run, right? That's just starts with a B. And then there is Detective Comics that starts with a D. Well, I don't A through Z by the name of the run specifically if it's a major character like Batman. What I do is I put all my Batman under B. So you have Batman, and then you have Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. So, this is not categorized under L, although even it does say Batman ... Legends of the Dark Knight. So technically that would still be under B. But then you have Detective Comics, right? So Detective Comics would be under D, but I keep it with my Batman stuff. But ironically enough, I actually pulled my Detective Comics Volume 1 from here, but I'll explain why later. So another example is Spider-Man. Like, I don't take Amazing Spider-Man and put it under A, or Spectacular Spider-Man and put it under S. I put all of my Spider-Mans under S for Spider-Man. Okay? So as you can see, it's just alphabetical, goes to Green Arrow. Okay? Now, then I have some independent franchises. So this is like, we have the Aliens franchise, so A, Battlestar Galactica B. So I keep Betty Page, certain independent books and franchises on their own. Conan, see, even though it's Marvel, it's in with my franchises. Now I might change that. I might change this because I'll explain when I get to my my Bronze Age stuff, right? But that's all alphabetical. It comes over to R, Red Sonja, and then Richie Rich to like Star Trek, and then Star Wars, and then to the T, which is Transformers. Okay, even my Marvel and my IDW Transformers. All right, now this is more independents, but this is independents that are either that are not like known franchises, You know, so and what I do with my independent box is I organize them by publisher, A through Z, Aftershock publisher, um, ACG, and then Black Bull, so A, B, you know, so forth, Dark Horse, D, um, so, and then Dynamite and so forth. So that's how I organize some of my independents, right? Now, the bulk of what's over here is Marvel. Let me move this chair out of the way. My Marvel stuff starts right here, and it goes like right here. Okay, so and it starts with A. Well, it starts with the numbers. So you got 1602 and then A, Alpha Flight, you know, B, D, C, D. So C is Captain America. Although I do, here's something to show something creative that I do that is not just A through Z, okay? I actually have my Tales of Suspense in front of my Captain America, because Tales of obviously Captain America starts. Here's my cover list 100. Captain America starts at 100, continuing Tales of Suspense. So this technically is taking out of ABC order, A through Z order, right? So I keep them with my cap, and my cap still is organized, you know, ABC. You guys following along yet? These two are my 2 complete cap runs, 2 boxes, and we come down here, right here, and we got D, Darkhold, and so forth. So, and that continues through all of these boxes pretty much. Now, same thing with my DC. I know I showed you guys some boxes of independent stuff, but this is like A, B, C, D, F, G, and then it keeps coming down here, H, I, J for Justice League. I got all my Justice League stuff. So, and that continues all the way through Z. Like I got Wonder Woman. Weird War to Wonder Woman. So there's a coverless Wonder Woman, or a ripped cover Wonder Woman. And through Z, right? So now, one thing that I do, one thing that I do is, and I've explained this before in videos, I separate, so for DC, let's talk about DC first. I separate New 52 from my main A through Z collection. So when New 52 started in 2011 and they reset everything, I keep everything from 2011 to present separate. And let me show you guys. So I have a whole new A through Z. You know, Aquaman, A, B for Batgirl, Batman, and so forth, all the way through Z. And that's these boxes down here. Okay? And then from there, this is all my New 52 stuff. From there, I have all of my Rebirth stuff, A through Z, in its own boxes over here. There's some of it back there. So all of these long boxes right here are Rebirth. And then I do have Image back here, A through Z, in my long box. I have a couple Spawn books that I need to put away. That's all my Image stuff. It just fits in one long box. So yeah, so okay, so let me point this out. So when we have a publisher like Image that I have a good amount of, and I can fit it in my own box, I'll keep it in my own box. Now, if I had enough space, I'd probably keep it with my other independent stuff, but because I'm more of a Marvel and DC person, I don't want my independent stuff being taken in my prime positioning, right? So that's kind of why the Images move back in the corner, because I don't really go through it. So I'm good with keeping it in the corner and having it back there, because I never even really bother with it and whatnot. So now, similar to how I separate New 52 and Rebirth stuff from my standard DC A through Z, I separate everything Marvel now to present from my standard Marvel stuff. So Marvel now, it happened in 2012 when they reset everything again. When Marvel reset everything, you know, the numbers, new volumes, started off with number 1s on everything. And I keep those A through Z in their own boxes. And that's here, 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 and a couple of these boxes over here. This is my second box, so this is pretty full, but this starts on F for Fantastic Four. and so forth. So everything 2012 to present for Marvel is separate. Okay, now let's talk about something a little more specific over here. And I want to let you guys know that are still watching, I haven't even gotten to the bulk of how I'm organizing, and the most important piece of organizing for me right now. I haven't got to that yet, so you guys have to stick with me here, okay? Now, here's an interesting thing when talking about A through Z, okay? My A through Z for Marvel goes all the way to X. So, you know, W, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and then Z. I have actually all of my X-Men stuff separated, but it still sits at the end of the boxes. But let's go back to the end of this box. Here's W for some Warlock, What If, and then Wonder Man. So that's W, right? And then I have X for X-Men. And I keep my Uncanny X-Men first. And then from Uncanny, which I have 2 long boxes, and this isn't even all of it, I then go to X-Men Volume 1. And then from X-Men Volume 1, and this is how, guys, sometimes we have to get creative. Sometimes we have to get creative because it's not always about alphabetical order, right? Okay. X-Men Volume 1, which is the 90s Jim Lee series, turns into New X-Men. Then that turns into X-Men Legacy. Somewhere around here. I think back here more. X-Men Legacy. You guys see that? So, because of this, it's all in order, right? So why would you want to, like, put, you know, New X-Men in with the N or something, you know, and take it away from the run that it's actually in? So this goes to those that like to collect runs, that like to organize by runs and keeping it in order, right? You know, so if I'm reading my Jim Lee run and I want to read the whole thing, I need to have it all aligned and in order from X-Men and New X-Men to X-Men Legacy and whatnot, right? Similar to how I did with Tales of Suspense and Captain America, even though it kind of takes it out of that alphabetical order, it's in order of how the run fits, right? Now, another thing that I do with X-Men, and this is just me because I like X-Men. They are my favorite group, superhero group. So, here's just more X-Men stuff. Astonishing X-Men. So, and also what I do, so everything that's under X for X-Men, I have 2 ways of organizing it. I keep it in alphabetical order under X. So, for example, if it's X-Men, all new, I'll put it first because it has an A after the main title, X-Men. If it's X-Men, you know, blue, I'll have it under B, under the main X-Men title. So, all new, blue, gold, so forth. But that's just one way, because there's another way. I keep Uncanny X-Men. So if I had everything under X-Men with a subtitle as alphabetical order, Uncanny would probably come after most of it because the U is so down the line in the alphabet. But because Uncanny is the first ever run, I keep it first. So if I'm wanting to read X-Men books, that's where I would start. So see, it can get a little kind of confusing, and you could probably see here for those that have OCD trying to keep our books organized, it's never that black and white. Okay, now, what I was also saying here is that I keep anything related to X-Men as in with my X-Men stuff as X-Men family. So I have my X Factor here. And then, look, I even have this tab here. My X-Men stuff continues over here. And I have X-Men family. And then under X-Men family, I go alphabetical order. C for Cable. E for Excalibur. New Mutants. And it all goes over here. New Mutants. So all of my X-Men family stuff is organized together. So, all right. Are y'all keeping up with me here? So let's go over to these. Okay. And let me explain. Let me move this chair out of the way from over here. And I got a random little book just sitting up here. I'll get that out of the way for right now. So now we got all these comics over here. We got all these comics over here that I haven't talked about. We have all these comics over here that I haven't talked about. And honestly, I mean, I have random books that I don't have homes for. Like I have my Peter Parker Spider-Man just sitting here out of a box. It's crazy. So now, okay, what I have over here, guys, and I've talked about this before in a video. I started doing this 2 years ago, I believe, when I started taking mostly my Bronze Age runs, mostly Marvel, mostly my Bronze Age runs, some Silver Age runs, and separating them from my main boxes over here. Now, the reason being is this. Well, one, you keep adding on to a collection, you need more space, right? Secondly, I like having the access to these, and that they're short boxes, better than these. Now, don't get me wrong. This shelving unit that I built to fit specifically for long boxes is amazing storage. It's perfect. The long boxes work great for books that you're storing and you don't need to go in and out of a lot. But I realized that keeping everything in long boxes sucks, especially if you're accessing those boxes often, right? It sucks. Even for those that have, that can lift it. I mean, having to lift, pull out, pull in, lift, and lift up again and again these long boxes, I mean, it can really be wearing on your back. So I shifted the main focal point of my collection over here, and that is mostly Bronze Age books right now. That means I want to work on completing my Bronze Age runs and Silver Age. So the way this works, it starts right here, and I'm running out of room over here. Again, it starts with A. So I have Amazing Adventures. Then I have my Avengers run. So, of course, my Avengers run is starts in the Silver Age, but it goes through the Bronze Age and then, of course, Modern. So a lot of your main runs are going to do that. Now, let me pause there and show you guys what I've been doing as well. So somebody brought up, because I brought up the question of, like, how do you guys organize your reprints or your True Believer books and whatnot? Do you keep them in their own box, like for your True Believers, or do you keep them with the collection? This is what I've been doing. So at the Avengers Volume 1, at the start, I have all of my like reprints. I have my Marvel milestones all in the front, and then I start my main run. Okay? That's how that works. Actually, I do have some reprints in order of, like, this is a reprint of what is that, 28? And I have it in order of where 28 should be. So I'm doing two things. I'm keeping some of my reprints in the run, and I'm keeping some of them at the beginning of the run. And I've done that with some True Believers as well. Let me know what you guys think of that. If you guys like that idea, or you guys think that kind of is messing up the feng shui of the actual run. So I got my Avengers run. And what I've done for my big runs that actually start in the Silver Age and go into Modern, I've been keeping even the Modern books up through here. But what I'll do is, most of the main runs stopped in either 1996 or 1998, and then they reset them to a Volume 2. So all my Volume 2 stuff is still over here in alphabetical order, okay? So that allows me to focus these boxes on Silver Age and Bronze Age, and then, of course, some early Modern if it's part of the big run. Now, for annuals, I keep at the back of the run. Keep all my annuals in order at the back of the main run. And then we keep on going alphabetical. Black Panther. There's my Black Panther run. To Champions, Defenders, Doctor Strange. See, so all of these runs, like I said, are either Silver Age or started in the Bronze Age. And here's another example of facsimile reprints and whatnot being in the front of the run, and then my main run starts, right? Doctor Strange started in the 70s. So there's that. I do have my, then you got Eternals. And then I do have my Fantastic Four. Here's the #1 reprint. My Marvel Milestones all in the front. And then you get to the main bulk of the run itself. So that continues all the way over here. Incredible Hulk. We got Miss Marvel. We got Nova. We got Red Sonja, the Marvel Red Sonja stuff. Okay. The Marvel Star Wars run. And that continues. Now, this is where it's like when you start running out of space and you want to stay organized, but it's really tough to do. Here's I for Iron Man, right? And then I got like Jungle Action in there. Now, this should be, where should this be? I. So here's H for Hulk, and then I should be like right here, but I have it down here. But it's all part of that still, right? And then same with my W. So this is like, you know, my Warlock run. And then because this is, it goes QRS, Spider-Woman Volume 1 run. And then down to W and then Z. So, so that's that. Now, let me explain something else. You guys probably just saw some Uncanny X-Men books pop up. I have now taken my early Uncanny X-Men run away from my main long boxes over there because I'm running out of room, and I'm keeping at least some Silver Age and Bronze Age over here with these runs. Now, is this making sense, guys? You guys following this? Now, I've done this with Amazing Spider-Man as well because I have 2 long boxes of Amazing Spider-Man in here, right? But I have it over here. Now, here goes. Now, these that I've separated that are, you know, Silver and Bronze Age runs are still kind of out of order because now I have my Thor run over here. And my Thor run is 3 boxes long. So, Thor Volume 1, that is. So that's that. And like I just showed you guys with my Uncanny X-Men, I did the same with my Amazing Spider-Man. And once again, as you can see, we got reprints and whatnot in the front. And then we got the main series starting right here. So, we got Silver Age going all the way up to some Bronze Age of Amazing Spider-Man. Now, talking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, for me, is crazy because I have so much Spider-Man stuff. This here is my entire run, my complete run of Spectacular Spider-Man. It's 3 boxes. It's all these 3 boxes, right? I told you I had some random Peter Parker Spider-Man over here, not even in a box, right? This box way down here is my complete run of Web of Spider-Man. I have Sensational Spider-Man randomly placed right here. This is my complete run of Sensational Spider-Man. And then, like I said, I have 2 boxes of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 over here as well. I have my whole McFarlane Spider-Man run over here. That's it right there. You can see it with the lid off. So my Spider-Man stuff is all over the place because you got to think, if I was to put all of my Spider-Man runs like right next to each other, it would take up so much space to where I would take up prime space for that. And I've read all my Spider-Man stuff, so I'm not actively going through my Spider-Man stuff, pulling it out, looking in it, reading it, but I am with these. So that's why these runs are here. I'm adding to them constantly. I'm flipping through them constantly. I'm reading them constantly. That is why I have the ones I have where they're at. Okay. So, I even have my modern Spider-Man, my current, what is it, are we on Volume 4 Spider-Man, down in these 2 boxes down here. Because I have every issue of those. So, now, we're almost done here, guys. Let's go over a few more things. And this is where, I remember I said that saving the best for last. I talked so much about organizing runs, and that's the bulk of how I do things. But when we talk about, like, variant covers, right? Or key books, or, you know, artists, or, you know, things like that. These are the things I'm going to show off now and to show you guys how I've been collecting those. Now, real quick, I'll just show off Now, obviously, we have to keep graded books separately. I have them in a magazine box, and this is all of my graded books. With them, I have all my magazines. This is all my magazine stuff. I don't have that many, but this is what I have. So, of course, your slabs have to be, separate somewhere else in a box that'll fit them. Okay. But let's start looking at what all these boxes down here are. All right. Now, as I did a video, 2 days ago, showing off some key books. Okay. I did start putting key books in a box. Okay. We got some number ones. Even if they're minor keys, they're in the box. But like I said, number one's up here first. And then, let's see, just to show, I showed these off in the video, but so I don't want to waste time. But you see what I'm saying? Definitely keys in one box. Now, to the individual's question that commented, what's the reason for that? The reason is because I'm realizing for myself as a collector, as much as I'm a run collector and as much as I love having everything organized in runs, it gets overwhelming at times. And for me to have key books in one box, it's fulfilling. It's fulfilling. It is really fulfilling for me to be able to come out here, see all these nice books in Mylar bags, and to flip through them as keys. There's an appeal to it. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. And they further went on to say, like, is it just to show off, or some people show off? I just want to clarify first and foremost, I don't think I've came into, and maybe I'm naive, and I just want to see the best in this community and people in this community, but I don't feel that the majority of us, and I think I replied saying 99.9% of us that are YouTubers that like to show, whether it's coming on YouTube and showing it off or on social media forums, whatever, I don't think we are narcissistically or egotistically bragging and showing off what we have. We enjoy what we have. We enjoy showing it off, and we enjoy showing it off for community, for us to be a part of something. And that's why I do it. Believe me, there are so many people out there that have better collections than I do. So it's not, that's why, I have 16,000 Humble books, and people are like, oh man, I wish I had wish I had your collection. I'm like, it's not about the quantity. There's quality over quantity, and there's also what's unique to the individual. Somebody may have a collection of 200 books, but it's the best 200 books that they want to own, and that is special to them. So each collection is special in its own way, right? So that's what I've been doing with key books, and I am going to be continuing to take more key books out of their runs and putting them in a special box, okay? I have been separating variants, okay? Now, I was on the whole craze of the what do you call these, whatever variants. Now, not that I was on a craze of them paying full price. I got most of these out of a 50-cent bin, but I bought so many of them. This whole box is almost all of them. So I have those in one place, right? And then I collected the 40th Star Wars anniversary variants. So I have all those issues, and I just started collecting the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back variants, right? So I got Star Wars variants. There's a sketch cover that an artist, I forget his name off the top, Brandon McKinney or something like, I believe he was a Dark Horse artist. So I got some Star Wars variants in there, and then I have variants that are specific to artists, and I've showed these off before, but like some Josh Middleton. Then I got some Ari Granoff, how do you say his last name? And then some Art Germ, J. Scott Campbell, some Greg Horn, some Jim Lee. This is a box for variants based on artists, some of my favorite artists. And then this is just some more random variants. I got my Detective Comic 1000 variants. I got a whole bunch of Spider-Man variants that I have in one spot, connecting covers and whatnot. So that's that. And then, like I said, I have more random Amazing Spider-Man runs laying around. And then, because I'm a Star Wars fan, now let's go back early in this video when I said I keep franchises together. Well, I have all my Star Wars stuff that is new Marvel stuff separate in alphabetical order to the secondary title, Star Wars Dr. Aphra. So you got Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, all in order. And then my new Star Wars Marvel series is right there. And because I ran out of room, I have all my Wolverine stuff in one box too. All my Wolverine stuff is in one box. So that's Wolverine from the 80s all the way into like the 2000s. All right, and that's just a book that I need to file away still, so I'll keep it behind this box. Whew, man. Now, let's go. We got a few more boxes, guys. So, this box right here. Now, remember, back to the beginning of the video, I talked about I separated my Detective Comics stuff. This right here is my to-read. These are books that I want to read, okay, that are on my reading list. And just because I needed an extra box, I wanted to separate my Batman Detective Comics stuff. And I did the same with my... Oh, no, it's down here. It's this box, my Action Comics stuff. My Volume 1 Action Comics. That's, like, Silver Age. Well, I mean, these start in the Bronze Age, but I don't have any, Golden Age. I don't have any Golden Age Action Comics. So, like I said, it's not just Marvel that I'm starting to separate the Silver or Bronze Age runs from. I started with my DC, with Action Comics and Detective Comics, and I put them the best that I could for now with the space that I have, right? The next one I want to start separating, and then I want to start adding more to my run, is Volume 1 of Wonder Woman. Okay, so that's what that box is. Now, coming down here, talk to you guys about my current Spider-Mans. I have supplies everywhere. That's another thing that I think is tough for us collectors, is how do we organize supplies? This is a bunch of back stock of supplies. Okay. Now, this is my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. I love Ninja Turtles. I have enough to fill a short box. So that's what I did. That's all Ninja Turtle stuff. And then this is a whole box of True Believers. Now, as I was saying earlier, I have been keeping some True Believers. Like if it's Avengers, I'll keep it at the beginning or at the end of the Volume 1 run. But I'm hesitant on doing that with all of them yet. So that's what that is. And I do have my Wonder Woman run. That starts at Rebirth, separate, because I have so much of them. And I like Wonder Woman. That's separate and easy for me to access. So now, before I wrap this video up, I just want to show you guys a little bit about what's going on up here too, in terms of organizing supplies. So I have backstock supplies that I just showed you. And I have bags and boards that I use on a daily basis over here and over here, right? And then I also have excess stuff. These are excess used bags and boards that I will still probably